fickety, fuck GameStop. I think that's how we'll start this one. Is just fuck GameStop, just off the top.
Well, I mean, it is our promised GameStop episode. We should make like a likes level of like when we hit 3,000 likes, we'll make this kind of an episode. But like we have to have 3,000 people watching us first.
Well,
if we get 5 likes.
If we get 5 likes, you will find out what my shoe size is.
Sure.
Or something. I don't know. But I do know that we were sitting down and I'm like, what should we talk about today? What should this episode be? You know what? They deserve it.
If you've made it this far through our nonsense,
you definitely deserve to know why it is that we say fuck GameStop. I mean, if you haven't noticed, then what's wrong with you? But every single episode of this podcast, we say at some point, fuck GameStop.
Yeah. And it's mainly because it's for me it's poor or just negative customer interaction and experience and like business practices. Because I don't feel that a company that's supposed to be like for a small, what I would consider a general smaller cross section of the average person, which is like the gamer people, to come in there and buy a game or a system or multiple systems and multiple games and they're working off of the fact that like someone will come in and buy the new release of a game every 3 or 4 weeks, and then get tired of that game after, a week or two, and then want to trade it in for like cash or credit or whatever to put towards their next system. And their whole deal is very vulture-esque. It's very not bird of prey, because they're not even hunting. They're just picking the carcasses of customers. Like, the poor guy who like needs new tires for his 87 Civic. Like, I need to turn in my PS4 and all of my games because I need $30 to make rent. Like, that guy, is like, well, for your PS4 and all of your games, we will give you $62.
1/4 portion.
Yeah. It was worth 3/4 portions last time. Well, it's today now. Unkar Plot is the head CEO of GameStop.
All right, so...
And he will gladly give you beer money for your children.
So, okay. And yes, I agree with all of that. GameStop, like, has horrendous customer service, all that stuff. Now, having said that, I have some...
As a general retail shop, if you go and you're like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go buy a game. I am not going to buy any of your used shit because I know it was gotten on ill-gotten means and expectations, and you basically pillaged the poor corpse of whoever it is that turned this in because they bought it for $60, and then when you bought it back from them 2.5 weeks later, you gave them $12. Like, I'm not buying any of your used stuff. I will buy a brand new in the box cartridge, disc, whatever. But like, I don't want any of your used stuff. But it's just as good. No, it's not, because of the evil that was done during the transaction and how you got it. That's why it's not as good. It probably functions the same, but still.
Yeah, and but it does have the crying souls of its victims stenched onto it. So my relationship with GameStop has been, for me, it's evolved from one worst type of person to another, the worst type of person, to another, the worst type of person. And it's like when my relationship with GameStop changes, it's never like, oh, the store's different now and you've gotten better. It's always just like the same lateral move to something different that's bad. And I'll explain. Way back many, many years ago.
It's like you went from breaking into houses to breaking into cars.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? Many years ago, I was late to the PlayStation 3 world because I had a Wii and I enjoyed playing my Wii. I enjoyed because it was like a more casual gaming experience that I could share with my wife, and we could hang out and do like Wii Sports and things like that. But I digress. She knew that I was a more hardcore kind of gamer, and for Christmas she bought me a PS3 one year. I want to say it was 2008, and I had set it up. I remember that I bought a couple of Call of Duty games at the time from Target because some of my coworkers played and they wanted me to get into that, and fine. And I said, you know what? I want to get more games, but I want to get more of an idea of what games are available for PS3. So I walked into GameStop and I said, hey, what games would you recommend? What do you recommend for somebody who has a PS3? And the motherfucker behind the counter said, an Xbox. And I remember at the time thinking, like, because I knew my wife bought my PS3 from GameStop, from that GameStop. So they sold it to her. Uh-huh. And I remember thinking, how would this dude's head look shattered behind the glass that holds all the fucking coming up new releases? Like, are you fucking serious, you asshole? I asked you what PS3 shit. Like, obviously I have a PS3, and your elitist moronic ass is gonna come up to me and say, an Xbox. I don't give a fuck what gaming system you use. I obviously came in here for something, and it wasn't your goddamn idiotic mouth.
That would be a thing that would cause people to lose business. As like, hi, I took my time and my money that I earned doing my job, which is probably terrible, whatever. And the person comes in there and is like, hi, I'd like to purchase some things from your fine establishment that are related to the console that I bought.
What kind of steaks do you have? I'm a vegetarian. Well, it says meat shop outside your fucking place. It annoyed the fuck out of me.
The butchery.
Oh, I can't even. Like, even thinking about it right now, my eyes are getting hot because it was such a flippant, like, and I'm gonna say millennial, but I don't know if the dude was a millennial. Like, it was such a fucking, like...
Well, if it was in 2008, was that term coined at the time?
No, but it was such a fucking, like, asshat thing to do.
Yeah.
And I wish it was an isolated incident. That's the one that I remember, but there was so much of that where I would go to different GameStops because that was the place. Like, it used to be EB. Before that, it was Funko Land and all that other... But that was the place you went to get games.
It was not going to... The End of a Species podcast with Adam and
Jeff,
where we talk about stuff that irks us or entertains us or both. So welcome to our show. We got kind of launched off pretty quick, but yeah. So this episode's about GameStop and their horrendous business practices. So,
and really, like, it's.
Thank you for being here.
It's a story of why we use the term fuck GameStop. Like, to me, again, GameStop represents a huge chunk of what I hate. Like, we talk a lot about things that we really like, things that we don't like so much. And the running theme throughout is that in GameStop, you can find a lot of the things that Adam and I despise in just things in general. And so... going forward from that 2008-ish experience, going from my PS3 to my Wii U, which again, go back then and try going into GameStop and asking for a Wii U game. Yes, I know only 14 of us bought a Wii U, but you assholes,
two of them are in this room.
Two of them are in this room, but you assholes still stock the shit. So if you don't believe in it, don't fucking stock it. Like, period. You know, it's not like I'm going in there to buy a Wii U and you're like, oh, it doesn't have any games. But if I went in there and I say, hey, do you have this game? You have a Wii U? Fuck you.
Yes, I do.
Like, and I just want the disc to spin on the tip of my nose.
And it's this predatory kind of thing. There was a like they hire a bunch of like people to go out there and serve the general public, to cater to their desires for electronic entertainment, and hence having a boutique for this electronic entertainment. And the people that are in there just I don't know, maybe their coffee in the back is just, it's half made with urine or something. I don't know. So I just, it's this awkward feeling that you get from them where they just have this terrible feeling of everyone's out to just manipulate everything else on top. I don't know. They just hate everyone that comes in the door. They hate everyone that comes in that doesn't do exactly what they do. And like, when I was growing up for a long time, like when I started making my own money, I had every gaming system. Like I had a computer, I had a Nintendo, whatever the Nintendo console was at the time, a PlayStation, whatever the Sony console, and then like an Xbox. And then when it hit after the Xbox 360, like I kind of started shying away from that, and I'm like, look, this is too much money. It's like every like 3 years they're putting out another console, and then it's like a couple $100, and then games, and then for all of these, like I can't do it. So I kind of consolidated down to a PC for most of what I've got to do.
A PC is oversimplifying it. You have the PC,
not the PC. There's stuff that's out there that's way better than mine. I put a little bit of effort into it, and like you can go out and make a $15,000 like gaming center, that runs everything in your house. But like I got something that'll play most everything at high end level and whatever. And then my Nintendo for my exclusives. But like most everything that I would want to play comes either on computer or Nintendo products. And I'm good with that. But like all these people are like, oh, you don't know what gaming is unless you've got an Xbox. Oh, you don't know what gaming is unless you have a PlayStation. Oh, and then they just riff on everything Nintendo. It's like, oh, what are you, from the 80s? You still have a Nintendo? I'm like, yeah, Nintendo makes great everything that they do. Like, they might not have like the highest processor and the highest, pixel count or whatever, but like everything that they make is usually like high quality gaming. Like,
you want to know? Let me give you a quick Nintendo story. So any elitist gamers out there, I bought Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? And I put that shit in my Switch. Click, click, the little tiny, laughably tiny cartridge. And
it's about the size of an SD card.
Yeah, and I bought it maybe a week or two after the game came out. And you know what happened when I put the cartridge in my Switch? I played the game. There was no, we have to download, like we forgot to put this stuff in the game, so we have to download this huge update. None of that. It was click and play. That was it. When was the last time that happened with... And I'm not... Like, I have a PS4 Pro. And I love my PS4 Pro. But when was the last time that happened? With... Like, I've gotten Telltale games that have day one updates.
Well, that was also the biggest, like, riff on people that played PC in the late 90s, early 2000s, was that like, oh, every game you get, it's got to get patched and downloaded and whatever. Oh, you got to wait for stuff to install. Oh, you bozo, you noob, you don't know, we just got to plug and play. We're so good. I'm like, yeah, who's doing that now?
Yeah.
Asshole. Because like everything has a day one download because no one finishes a game on time. EA just keeps rushing them out the door.
Yep.
EA, Ubisoft, Activision, whoever rushes everything out the door, and they're like, okay, get it in it's got to get in a package. The release date is this. fix it, whatever thing you got on the back end, and then we'll just make them download stuff on day one. And I'm like, yeah, PC guys, we've been doing this forever. Like, we have a processor that'll like, download, install. Like, the download takes longer than the install because like our computer just like, and then like, okay, it's working. But like the download's like what, 10, 15 minutes. I've seen PlayStations and stuff. Oh, day one download, you got 40 minutes of download.
And about an hour to copy. Like, the copy time is insane. So, okay. That's the worst type of person, number one, is the gaming elitist.
The gaming elitist asshole.
In reality, this is what you should do if you're a gamer.
Disrespectful.
Yeah. If you're a gamer, this is what you should do.
We don't want your money. We just want your, hipster douchebaggery. That's all we want.
If you like God of War, go get you a PlayStation. If you like PC gaming, go get a PC. If you enjoy Zelda, go get a Nintendo system. And then shut up and enjoy it. If your neighbor has some other shit.
If you like Halo, get an Xbox.
Yeah, word. Absolutely.
We're all inclusive here. We're not prejudiced.
Whatever the fuck you like to play on that, and then leave everybody else the fuck alone. Mm-hmm. That's it. If your friend has Call of Duty on Xbox and you have it on PlayStation, do not. I mean, they're not gonna buy another fucking $400 system to play with you. Find some other fuckers that play Call of Duty. And don't,
or everyone can all the systems come out around the same time, maybe a couple months. Everyone decide with your friends. Hey, we're all gonna go Xbox. Okay, you go get an X. Oh, we're all going PlayStation. Everyone gets a PlayStation.
Word.
And then you buy your obligatory nonsensical copy paste Call of Duty and go play that together on the same map with the same weapons, but they've updated the graphics.
The second worst type of person that I came across was around 2012 in GameStop, and that was where I probably should have seen the writing on the wall then, but I had a power-up rewards card because somebody gave me a gift card, and I bought games with the gift card, and they were like, well, if you get a power-up rewards card, you actually pay less today. And I was like, fine. And that power-up rewards card was supposed to come with that fucking shitty ass magazine that they have. I'm still waiting for them to send it to me. I've never gotten it, but I don't give a fuck. I've seen people with it, and
they have it on display in the store. And they have a table full of them. Sign up for like your membership at
because if you don't get our fucked up magazine, your life won't be. But so here's what happened was there was a person that worked at GameStop that I called my nemesis. And it was because every time I went in there, this person was like a complete deadpan asshole. And at that time, I was buying a lot of fucking games. So I was in GameStop a lot. And there were times where I would have to return something. And I'd just be like, oh yeah, I bought it under my phone number. And I find out that I have 5 fucking GameStop accounts under the same phone number. And what this person was doing I don't know how this makes them money, because I only have one power-up account where I'm paying that shitty $15 a year. But they were creating a new account so that if they had to do a return, like, I don't know, some weird shit that they were doing that made it so that they didn't get the detriment of a return I was doing or some other shit. I don't know. I don't care. But it sounded shady. It sounded like that Wells Fargo banking scam shit.
Yeah, every transaction we took 3 cents and then opened an account, and we got this account with like $400 in
the fucking Superman 3 bullshit.
Money. Yeah.
Office Space bullshit.
Yeah, the Office Space one. Yeah, it's the plot of Superman 3.
Like,
but like, yeah, I know someone like they're supposed to get so many like sign-ups for like the rewards thing, whatever. But I also contest that. But like, what you're looking for is returning customers. If you piss somebody off, they're not going to come back into your store and buy anything. Like, what are you like? Stop pissing people off, and then like people will come in and buy stuff. Like, what?
I'll put it this way: I've seen insider videos talking about this. I don't know, Circle of Life or whatever the fuck they had. I don't care about any of that. You could have whatever frou-frou fucking programs you want in your store where you say sell, sell, sell. What I care about is if I go in your store, I don't feel like somebody's poking me in the back with a stick and going, let me reach in your pocket. Like anything that makes me feel like something shady is happening. And around that time, every time I went into GameStop, between the fact that anytime I bought a game, I could go with a pre-owned $10 game that I just wanted to waste time on, they'd pull out that big ass 3 sheets of paper, like, which do you want to pre-order? And it's just this, do y'all, like, there's a lot of people in here. Y'all, like, hard up for money? It was almost like, it was really bordering on, like, in a previous episode about e-begging. It was almost bordering on that. Like, please buy our wares because we're dying.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if this was by design. I think it was, because I got the sense from the employees that worked there that if they didn't push all this weird shit on you, that something like that, they were going to have a consequence for it, which kind of sucks. But that turned me off from going there more than anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a few years ago, and I wear a lot of nerd memorabilia in general. Like, it's not like I'm not like walking in there with like wings and hats and helmets and all kinds of shit.
We're not on camera, but you're wearing a Zelda hoodie underneath which you have a Zelda shirt on.
Yeah, and I have a Zelda ball cap on the table.
Yeah.
So like, but like I theme out sometimes.
Word.
And
it matches. So
yeah, it all works. So I walk in and I've got, I think it's a Marvel shirt on, and it's kind of faded, but it's got it's got Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, and like they're all standing over like the word Marvel, and like in the background you see the M like behind them, like whatever. It's a very basic shirt. And then they ask me, hey, this game is coming. Do you want to pre-order? I walked in, like I've been here for 5 seconds, and like, this Marvel game is coming. Like, don't you want to get them? I'm like, hold up, yo. Like, I came in because I'm waiting for.
Your line is, good afternoon.
Yeah, it should be. It should be, hello, how are you today? Is there anything I can help you with? That should be like a standard, or like, welcome to GameStop. My name's Kevin. What can I do for you today? Because like I was just waiting for like family or something to get to like the Olive Garden that was like in the same shopping plaza, and I was like, all right. So like I'll just, they're 15-20 minutes out. I'll walk around GameStop and look at some of their stuff or whatever. And I walk in and I felt assaulted because I was like, no, I'm just killing time. And then they just want to talk to me incessantly about like this game that's coming out that I already told them. I just told them.
Master is in the back room, and if you don't buy this, he will beat me.
It was like, I just told you I didn't want to pre-order it. And like, you didn't ask me like, hey, what systems do you have? Like, what? Like, oh, that's a great one. Whatever. Like, I'm like, I have a PC. I'm like, I have a PC and a Nintendo. And they're like, oh, well, it's not coming out on either of those. I'm like, yeah. So I don't want to pre-order.
So as it turns out, you expended a lot of energy turning me off from this place.
And then they go into the whole spiel of, well, we have some pre-owned PlayStation 4s for the. I'm like, okay, that's very nice. First of all, I don't want any pre-owned anything, because like I know that you're selling it for like, it's a $400 system. You're selling it for like $320, discounted, but you only gave someone like $50 for that. Like, I in no way want to contribute to your massive markup. And that's the reason why they do it, is if they can sell the pre-owned, they make ridiculously more money selling it pre-owned, because the markup, like the overhead is nearly nothing and the markup is ridiculous, so the profit margins are insane. So like, granted, like it's a way of doing business, but like when customers start knowing that, they're like, I'll sell it on eBay, I'll sell it on Craigslist, I'll try and they'll try and get rid of it somewhere else where they can make more money. Like, unless they're like hard up and like, I need this gone now because like my radiator blew and I need a vehicle repair so I can get to work. Like, who's going to pay that? And that's one of the reasons why, like, I think we mentioned in one of our previous episodes, their profits for the holiday season were down like 40 or 50% or something like that. Like, they made nearly half of what they expected to make for a holiday season.
Continuing on the pre-owned theme, one of my favorite games, there have been a lot of really good games over the past decade. I know we had talked about doing a best of the decade for video games, but
we should still do that.
Yeah, definitely. When Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, I got the collector's edition for PS3, and I was pretty jaded when the PS4 came out, and it came out for PS4 with all the good stuff, right? But it took me a while. Like, when I finally got my PS4, I went to GameStop and I wanted a new copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 for PS4. And so I walked up to the lady behind the register and I said, "Hey, I just want Grand Theft Auto 5 new. $60." And so I gave her my power-up card, blah, blah, blah. She gives me, and I'm paying like 58 something. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. Is that correct? Yes. So she hands me the game. I look at my receipt, and this motherfucking shit says pre-owned. I had taken 2 steps. I turned right back around. I almost pushed the next person out of the way, and I said, "I don't know if you misheard me, but I wanted the new copy." "Well, the pre-owned is just the same." I'm like, "Is it new?" "No." "Well,
it's
then
not the same.
It's not the same. Give me the new copy." And I'm an old school gamer, so like for me, it's just I want the new. And you know what? The same thing that you said. Like you gave somebody $25 for their pre-owned copy of Grand Theft Auto 5, and now you're gonna sell it to me, and I'm gonna save $5 off the new. I'll buy the new one
for $5 more.
And let's let Rockstar get the money instead of you. And I'm cool with that. But if there is a market of people that will buy the pre-owned game. There is a market of people that will take the $5 off plus whatever percentage you give them for being part of your club, right?
Right.
And
Which also is not much. Like, pay us. Is it $15 a year or $15 a month? Or
it's 15. I think it was $15 a year. I'm not part of it anymore.
Yeah. But I didn't know if you.
But I think they give you either 10 or 20% off or whatever it is off of the pre-owned game. And there are people that will do that. And
another $5.
Yeah.
So I mean, $10. I mean, that's a like a single person's meal out. Like, it's like, that's you living it up at Taco Bell.
Are you saying
$10?
Are you saying most gamers are single? Is that what you?
No, I'm saying, but like, me and my wife have started comparing certain things to like this, whatever this thing is that we have to buy costs this much, and then we put it in perspective of what we've purchased that's amazing previously with that. Like, like we have to get, like, say, radiator blew up and like we have to get all these things done to the car. And it's like, oh, it's going to be about $2,000 to get it fixed. And like me and my wife went to Ireland for our honeymoon, and our honeymoon cost, like through the discounts and packages and stuff that we got, our honeymoon cost $2,600, and we're like, oh, that's almost Ireland. Like, that's almost like getting this thing fixed or buying this thing, or like when we had to replace the air conditioner, our main air conditioning handler in our house blew, and it's like, look, repairing it is going to be $3,500, or we can get you a brand new one for $4,000. And I was like, okay, so it's 2 Irelands to get a new.
I feel that pain.
It's 2 Irelands to get, almost 2 Ireland trips to get a new.
Adam and I are in Florida, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
And if your AC goes out in summer,
yeah, you effed. Yeah, but like that's how we've been that's how we've been comparing like buying stuff lately, and since then, and it's a great way to kind of like put things in perspective of like, if you're gonna go make an impulse purchase or do an impulse whatever, and like you compare it to this, like it kind of helps you put things in like a way of like, oh, do I really want to get that then?
Yeah.
Or do I really want to spend that money or time? Because
another way to do it would be to say,
well, prior to that, we used to do. Well, I used to do. I don't know if she did it. It's like, oh, I want to go do this. That's 5 hours of me working.
Exactly. How much time do I have to put in at my freaking job doing whatever it is that you do to get this?
Yeah. So like, and it's a nice way of kind of making you take a step back without from purchasing something. I've saved myself a lot of money because like I respond really well to a certain type of marketing. And it usually is like Marvel, DC, or Star Wars related, and like it's like, oh look,
there's a Star Wars. Here's my money. I didn't tell you what it was. Here's my money.
This can of Pepsi has a Star Wars thing on it. Like, yeah, just give me all of them. Like, wait, how much? Okay, no, I don't need it. It's like because I have to work like an hour and a half to get that thing. So I'm like, I'm all right, never mind. So, but it's. That's what I was getting at with $10. It's a taco meal. Like the person.
But at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's your choice if you want it. Like me, I like having brand new because it's. I mean, now I'm my primary system is a Switch, so even the idea of like old school like cartridges, right? I was the first one to put a save game on here. I know Switch save games don't go on the cartridge, but it's still like that psychology, and I work for my money. I'm okay paying for the new one, but for me it's the
I don't want to support your business practice.
It's the principle. If I asked you for a ribeye, don't give me a New York strip and go, oh, but if you put another one next to it, it's a ribeye. Just give me what the hell I asked you for.
Did you read my review of Longhorn Steakhouse?
No.
Longhorn Steakhouse.
Wait, a review where?
It's on Google.
I'm going to have to look this up.
You can go and find it. I reviewed, me and my wife went to Longhorn Steakhouse, and that exact thing happened. Like, that's why I asked. Because we sat down and
So let me get this. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm on this. You went to a steak, keyword, first word, steak house where they do steaks, and you asked them for a specific cut.
Of a particular type of steak, yes.
And they gave you a different, and they tried to pass off a different cut.
Oh, they sat there and argued with me. I argued with the manager. I argued with the server. And I'm like, look, I just don't want to get charged. Like the ribeye was like $26.99 or whatever. We came in. The thing is we came in late. They closed in like 45 minutes. I eat fast and we'll get to-go boxes. Like, we don't want to hold you up. Like, we're out. We're on our way home. Like, and we wanted something nice. We were celebrating something. I don't remember. But I remember this trip to Longhorn because I ordered a ribeye. It's $26.99. The New York strip was like $19.99 or $21.99. It's like it's like $5 or $6. But I was like, look, I don't mind paying. Like the steak is good. It tastes good. But this is not a ribeye. It's obvious. It's got the trim of fat down the side. It's a long, slender piece of meat. It's cut and grilled a certain way. And what it looked like, what happened, is that they had a porterhouse or something that was going to go bad or whatever. So they tore off this and tried to pass it off as a ribeye because it had like been cut like down the side. Like it had a cut so where you could, because I order stuff medium rare because like whatever carnivore, madman, whatever. But it looked like it had been cut down.
After
the side.
a certain age, and until your doctor tells you, you pretty much can't do well done.
Yeah. So it's got like pink showing through on the side. Whatever. I'm like, look, it looks like this is cut off of. It looks like this was cut off of another piece of meat, and I'm arguing, and they're like, we guarantee you that's a ribeye, and I'm like, no, I'm 35 years old. Like, I know what a steak. I've ordered ribeyes before. Like, what are you trying to pull? And they argued and argued and argued and argued and argued, and I'm like, look, I'll just get up and leave. And I'm like, do you want us to take it off of your ticket? And I'm like, that's not what I'm asking. I will gladly pay for a New York strip meal, but this is not a ribeye, and I don't want to pay ribeye prices for a New York strip. Like, why? What are you doing? And it was a huge thing. And then It was another. There was a whole other thing about how the server, and I think she was for some reason catty with my wife for whatever reason. Because like she came to the table, asked me what I wanted to drink, and then left, and she didn't ask her. And I'm like, what the hell just happened?
You know, that exact same thing happened for a long time when me and my wife would go out. There would be something that would happen similar to that, where like the server would come up and either say some weird, snidish shit to my wife, or just be really nice to me, like, oh, you want a lemonade? Here's your lemonade, and forget my wife's drink. And like she ordered it, but she wouldn't bring it. Mm-hmm. And if my wife would mention it, oh, yeah, that's no bueno.
I
no
always,
haps, Captain.
I always say it's because my wife's prettier than whoever it is that's talking shit to her, because it's true, first off, and then like, sometimes these other females in the wild are just angry for some reason. I don't know. It's also probably like my wife and I also have this constant conversation about like, what the hell's wrong with people in Florida? They're so like, some of them are just so angry and
that's
upset about something, and it's like, look, we just wanted this. We want to get what we paid for. We want to, we want to go out and like, hey, can we get a hotel room? Fuck you! I don't. What? This is the lobby of the hotel, right? Where do we go? He's like, I'm off in 10 minutes. I'm like, okay. Oh, what? Where is there a hidden camera somewhere? Like, what's going on?
So my contention is still, if you want to find the worst type of person, like you can find a lot of the worst type of people that like we're going off on tangents, but it's kind of symbolic of these are GameStop people.
Yeah.
Like these are the worst type of people that GameStop ends up representing. But anyway, continue.
Well, that's kind of it. It's a good place to segue.
Did you what ended up happening with that New York strip disguising itself as a ribeye?
So basically what they did is they offered us a free dessert, and then they took our cocktails off, I think, the thing, because I was like, look, I don't want a free meal. I don't want free. I just want what I requested. That's all I want. I don't want you to take the thing off. But they ended up giving us a free dessert, and then they took, like, I had a beer, and my wife had like I think like a Jack Honey tea or something. And like that was it. So they took without us asking, they took the alcohol off, and then like they just brought us a dessert. And I was like, all right.
Did they still charge you for the ribeye?
Oh yeah. So because they wanted to argue the point of like, no, it's a ribeye, and I think they would have known that I would have been more upset if they took the ribeye off as opposed to like just taking the drinks off. Because I think the total of drinks was like $11, whatever. It's not like the full price of the thing, but it's something. And then the dessert. And like, a lot of times, restaurants, I don't know if you know this, in restaurants, a lot of times the desserts cost next to nothing. But they're like, it's like $11 for like ice cream on a brownie. Like
I've noticed.
It takes nothing to make that dessert. And then it's like, still $11. It's a huge markup. So, but any case, it's like, I'm like, they tried, but like, I felt like they also insulted my intelligence, which...
If it would have been me, I would have just said, you know what? Charge him for a fucking New York strip and apologize.
Yeah, I don't see why that was a thing. Like, I don't see why they couldn't just do that. It's a $5 difference, and like, I'm arguing... Like, it's so obvious. Maybe they're the ignorant ones, whatever.
Did you take a picture of it by any chance?
No. No.
Damn. Anyway, and this had to have been recent.
This was about a year, maybe a year and like 6-7 months ago, something like that.
Oh,
like
so it's not okay.
It's not a year. It was about a year and a half ago. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Overall, I think anytime you feel scammed in a place, it turns you off from wanting to go back.
Yeah.
And around that time, because I haven't gone to GameStop in a while. The GameStop felt like every time you went in there, it felt like you were like doing a timeshare tour.
I have a story for that as well. Well, I'm not going to go into that. Well, that's a much longer one.
But like, that's what it feels like. It felt like
We're gonna make a lot of show, and we're making a lot of this, but we're gonna give you zero on the other end of it, and like also money.
Now the next worst type of person is very similar to the one we just talked about, and that's when GameStop went schizophrenic and they got the Think Geek stuff, and they got the
They don't know who they want to be anymore.
well, you know what, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. There's a lot of like right nearby our GameStop, the GameStop closest to us. There's a Target. A Target has now. If you go into Target, they have an electronics section. They have a supermarket. They sell clothes. They sell jewelry. They sell all sorts of shit. Toys, yeah.
Yeah. GameStop now sells games and toys.
But the difference is if you walk into Target
and clothes,
or if you even Walmart, fucking Walmart, like if you walk into Target and you buy a pair of jeans, there is not somebody at the register saying, "Do you also want gum?" And that I think is the problem. Like, I have 2 Overwatch Funko Pops that my brother-in-law gave me as a gift for Christmas. My brother-in-law and his wife. And I love them. There's one for Diva and one for Reinhardt, 2 of the characters that I play in Overwatch. I have them.
You're a tanky person.
Yeah, I love playing tanks, and it's right in front of my collector's edition God of War statue, right next to my big R2D2. Me personally, I would not walk into a GameStop and go, "Let me get the Funko Pops for Overwatch," which is why I think gifts are such a good practice in general, because it's things that you would like to have that you wouldn't buy for yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet that if I was to walk into GameStop and buy, say, some Blizzard credit,
Okay.
like one of them Overwatch cards.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know we have Funko Pops?
Yeah, I know. You have a wall of them. It's like 15 feet long and goes from the floor to the ceiling. I've noticed you have Funko Pops. Surprisingly, the shelves are completely stocked because no one's buying them shits.
Now, if you and here's the thing: if you want to advertise your stuff, that's fine. Advertise the hell out of it. But if you advertised it and nobody's buying it, that's the limit. That means it was a bad investment. People don't want that. Or they don't want to go into GameStop because your brand identity is video games, and then also get this stuff. Like, I'm sure there's a market. There's a huge, because Funko Pop is a successful company.
Yeah, it's a very successful company.
There is a market for that. Mm-hmm. And if they're not getting it from you, you have to figure that out. You cannot, you can try, but it's not going to work for you to come to me and say, "Do you want this crap that nobody's buying?" Mm-hmm. That's not what I came in there for. So that's the next worst type of person is we have weird statues and toys and stickers and all sorts of things that tangentially touch on video games, but they are not video games.
Which is not necessarily a problem. I have my section of game memorabilia, amiibos. I also have like a number of Legend of Zelda related stuff. It's Legend of Zelda is hands down my favorite video game series. But I've gotten a couple of things from GameStop. Like there's a Master Sword that's in the pedestal that is reminiscent of a Temple of Time, and you press a button and it lights up from underneath. It's very cool. And then there's like a Triforce and whatever.
Stuff that you wouldn't find, say, at Best Buy or
you wouldn't find that at Target or Walmart. Like that's like hunting it down on the internet kind of a thing. Like I have an addiction to certain things and I need to find it, and the only place I can find it is on Amazon or Nintendo.com, shop.nintendo.com
or PlayAsia
or something. So like they have a couple of like niche little things, but like they also have like stuff from like Spencer's, like walls of socks and wallets, and it's like Okay, so they're also like they had the Think Geek website, and like the Think Geek website on its own was like fine. It was a nice place to kind of like go and like find some like interesting new memorabilia, and then they closed that down and integrated it into GameStop's website. And GameStop's website is terrible. It's impossible to find anything. Like the search engine like doesn't understand what you're putting in. Like unless it's like I want Call of Duty, like it can't find anything for you. I've tried just typing in like one word like Zelda and like nothing. It's like do you want, Super Mario Odysseys? What I'm like, no, that's a Nintendo related like
Do you want a Zelda themed pillow?
we're in the same galaxy, but we're not, we're not we're not even in the stadium, like. So the search engine can't find anything. The shop doesn't want anything. They want you to trade stuff in online, whatever. I'm like, why are you assaulting my synapses?
And this actually segues into the other worst type of person, which is this. And GameStop is not the only one to commit this sin of having exclusives, right? Like there are, for example, I have a Lucario amiibo that was a Toys R Us exclusive, right?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rip. There are, I think Rosalina was a Target exclusive, right?
Yeah, they eventually homogenized.
Yeah,
but like for the first little bit, yeah, they were.
What GameStop started doing is they would have exclusives of certain versions of games. And then they would say, you know what I want to do? I want to make a collector's edition myself. So Ubisoft has not deemed that they have their own collector's edition of this Assassin's Creed game. But we have all this crap that's sort of Assassin's Creed related, and we're just going to package it.
Yeah.
So all the Funko Pops we tried to sell you last year that you said no because you're not interested, we got all that shit in the warehouse. We got to get rid of it. We're the only ones that carry this version of said game. You know what they did that with? That what I thought was absolutely disgusting. When the Nintendo Switch launched, I bought my Nintendo Switch from, I want to say Target. I bought it online, and it was one of these things where
it was Target. Yes, yeah. I remember you going through
it. The website, there was a website that kind of looked at all the retail shops and said, "Hey, it became available 30 seconds ago. If you don't buy it in the next 5 minutes, it's going to be gone." And this was when the Switch first launched. And so I placed my order, and Target just sent me a Switch. For a long time, the only company that had any Nintendo Switch available was GameStop. And they did not have like a $300 Switch. They had a Switch bundle that came with all their, like the Switch itself, if you buy it, it has 2 Joy-Cons, it has your dock, has a charger.
And then main system.
And then the system itself. And then you get games for it. So right out of the box, it has everything that you need to start playing. And then you maybe can get a Pro Controller if you like a traditional controller over playing with the Joy-Cons. But even the Joy-Cons have a holder that turn it into more of a traditional controller. So out of the box, you can get started.
It's a little more square. It's a little square. But like I used it for, I don't know, probably like 6 weeks before I actually went and bought a Pro Controller. So.
I played the entirety of Breath of the Wild on there, and my hands felt a little cramped, but it was workable.
Yeah.
Right.
We're also like I'm 6'3", you're 6'2". So like we're bigger guys.
Yeah, we need bigger controllers anyway. But I don't know what was in the bundle.
I remember some of what was in the bundle
for the GameStop with the Switch, but I just remember thinking, what kind of an asshole move is that for the game system that everybody wants that costs $300?
And they're holding it hostage.
And when you get it from GameStop, it's $500 with bullshit you don't need. Or you don't even know if you need, but you're just paying the $500 because...
Well, that's the other thing, though, is that they had the $300 system, but and they had it in a package, like purchasable with the package, but they would not sell the $300 system
Correct.
on its own. So just to clarify,
Because you want to see Hamilton, and the tickets are all sold out. So it's scalper time.
so like it was a way of like, oh, you want this, don't you? Take your Jedi. No, I'm not going to. I just did that off camera or off stream for a minute ago. But like, you want this, you have to buy all this extra shit too. Like, you have to buy it as the bundle because that's the only way we're allowed to ring it up. And I'm like, no, it's not, because none of it's like in the actual Nintendo box. Like, some of them are Nintendo products because it's the game case, the case to travel with the travel case to travel with your Switch, a car charger, a pack, like a game pack to hold your cartridges. Like, if you have more, like because the travel box comes with like it'll hold like 4 games in a little plastic thingy. It'll like hold 4 cartridges. But like they sell an additional box that'll hold like 32 cartridges. And keep in mind, this system's brand new. Like, there's not 32 games on the shelf yet for you to load this up. Yeah. Let alone are you going to buy a $500 package and then buy 30 some games at $60 a piece to like load this thing up. But like, it's that, a Pro controller, like additional wires and chargers. It was like I'm like, and that's the only way you could get it. I'm like, but you have like, there's one there. And it's like, we're only allowed to sell it with the package. And I'm like, you greedy bitches.
I'll tell you, they had some cases that originally only came out on GameStop for the Switch that I thought, oh, those are cool. But out of spite, I waited for them to be available on Amazon or Best Buy and got them there instead. Even though I already had my Switch.
Yeah.
I already had my Switch. And, you know, I could have gotten those at GameStop because they had them.
And they weren't super expensive either.
No.
Like $15 maybe.
Mm-mm. But just the fact that they did that with the bundle, because around the time, this was around the time, I think around the time you were getting married.
It was, yeah.
And
because one of my, with getting married, people give you, monetary gifts and stuff. And with our monetary gift, like, I told me and my wife both, like, we're going to put a lot of this in savings, but like, we're each going to buy ourselves a thing. And mine was the Switch. Like, I bought my Switch with that.
And if you look at it, you're like, if this had been 6 months earlier from when you got married,
mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have been able to spend just $300 and gotten a Switch.
No.
This was like when you got married, it was.
And there's another thing is like, if you didn't do that, like say like it didn't package with a game, so someone's already gonna they're gonna buy a Switch and they're probably gonna buy a game as well, or maybe a couple. When I got mine, I bought. I was at that time when I got it, I was looking for the collector's edition of Breath of the Wild, which is still impossible to find. But all the games are region free, by the way, for the Switch, so you can get them from anywhere. I bought a UK version of Breath of the Wild collector's edition for a little over $100, and it came with the Master Sword statue and the game with a different cover on it, so it's a little different, and then like. Not a magazine, like a couple other like little trinkets. The soundtrack was big for me.
Packaged together by Nintendo.
All packaged together by Nintendo. And I was like, I'm not going to buy Breath of the Wild because I'm going to look for that thing. And I got Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And I was like, I got one game. Probably, like, my wife was like, you can get another, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait for my next paycheck, and then like I'll start picking up some games and so on. But like, if you make someone buy $500 worth of shit, like they then have to go and buy a game. Like, what evil bastards would you, like? Yeah, you can buy the system, but you can't play it yet because you still gotta buy games, and you had to buy all of our little trinkets to go along with it. We are assholes from another planet.
Now contrast that. Like, I've had recently 1 or 2 bad experiences at Best Buy. But those bad experiences were anecdotal. They were like a one-time, like, whatever.
It wasn't, they're not consistent. Yeah.
Whereas...
And I would also contest that the time when you had those bad experiences were starting on Black Friday and
Yeah.
and then continuing into like that next week and a half ish.
Yeah.
Like that's there's high wait times, there's high stress. Like those people have probably been there 10 hours already.
Yep.
So
100%. But fundamentally, if I was to walk into Best Buy and say, like, we walked into Best Buy, I think it was around Black Friday,
it was the following Monday,
and you were looking for a controller. And you were able to walk into Best Buy and say, I'm looking for a controller, and you were looking at a $50 controller
for my PC, yeah.
And they said, well, this $15 one does exactly what you want it to do.
It's like you,
and there was no talk of, well, it's a $15 one, but it's packaged with a toy and a this, and they sell all that shit at Best Buy. Yeah. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah,
they sell TVs and all. They sell more shit at Best Buy than they do at GameStop. But you could walk into Best Buy and just buy the shit you need, and then leave.
Yeah. And then like they'll ask you like, hey, is that everything you need? We have X, Y, and Z still. Do you need any of that? And you're like, no, all right, that's it.
Our Best Buy is a half hour away. GameStop is down the block.
It's 10 minutes. Yeah, it's less than 10 minutes. If we hit the lights,
I actually have to drive past 2 GameStops to get to Best Buy. In either direction.
Yeah.
I have to drive past 2 GameStops to get to Best Buy, and I will happily do that. Or if I order online, I'm going to jump right onto Best Buy to order online, because the thesis here is fuck GameStop.
Yeah.
And that's not saying that like Best Buy is the shit. I'll go to the down the block from GameStop. I'll go to Target, which has a bigger selection of games than the GameStop nearby us, which is weird. But I'll go there.
It's because the shelves are packed with all the used shit. Like brand new games, yeah, Target's got it. But like their shelves are packed with stuff because it's all used stuff that nobody's buying. Because like, oh yeah, I don't want to pay $39.99 for
Madden 12 for $5.
For Madden 12 that they paid $5 for.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's no like, or like tons of old systems and whatever. I'm like, if you want to like, there's a market for some of the people that like, oh, I'd really like to try and find like an old original Super Nintendo, but like GameStop is not the place for that. It's not. So
overall, there was one employee at GameStop that I thought was the bomb. Always treated me good. Just going to use his first name, Mike. Good job.
Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Angelo if you're listening.
Great stuff.
But
he's not there anymore. I don't know where he is. Like, he went to somewhere else. I know he still works for GameStop, but nonetheless,
he probably got moved up to corporate because he was a decent person.
I don't know if that like really speaks well for like. I'm gonna have to think on that, because he is a real cool dude, but like I would think that you'd have to be like horns and red flappy dragon wings, to go up into like the stratosphere there. Like
you're sacrificing like 5 virgins and like, yeah, you made district manager, ha ha ha.
But yeah, that's one person that made my experience palatable in a sea of this used to be behemoth. Matter of fact, you know what? I just looked across and I saw my Diablo Loot Goblin amiibo. That we were talking before, and I was like, when was it that I went to GameStop last? And it was for that. GameStop had the exclusive on the Diablo Loot Goblin amiibo. And I love playing Diablo 3 on my Switch. It's one of the only like crossover, let's redo last gen games that I look at and I'm like, oh, this game it's really enjoyable on the Switch. Like if you play Skyrim on the Switch and you put it on your TV, you almost want to like euthanize yourself. But like Diablo 3 is very enjoyable, and having a Loot Goblin amiibo makes sense. And it does.
It does. That's great.
It 100% does.
Oh man. Oh Jesus.
But there was an exclusive at GameStop, and when it first came out, it was online only. And amiibos cost like $15.
Yeah. 15 if you're unlucky, 12.99 if you're lucky.
The cheapest shipping on this son of a bitch was $10. So it was $15 with $10 shipping. And I was like, do I really need it that bad?
No.
And at one point, for like a minute, there was one Loot Goblin amiibo at the local GameStop. And I ordered it right away. And I soup Nazi'd this thing. Like, I walked in, handed the paper to the person, didn't say a word. They handed me, like, it was paid for already. They looked at it. They looked at the paper. They looked in their system. I didn't want them to ask me any questions. They were confused for a good 15 seconds, and then they put it in a bag and handed it to me, and I hightailed it out of there before the stench got on me. And
it's a sulfur kind of smell.
Yeah, and so those are our GameStop stories. We probably have a million more, but those are the major ones, I would say.
Yeah, those are some of the major ones.
And we went on tangents on other things that kind of related to it, but you can tell how most of our GameStop experiences relate to something bad. So if you had a question
Also, stop pushing me a strategy guide. Like the last 4 or 5 games I've bought from there, like they want to upsell me a $30-some strategy guide. You mean like you want me to have a thing that tells me how to play the game? Why do you? How about you just come over and play it for me? Like I don't know. I don't see the point of those. Like,
see, my problem is
back in the day when like the only way to like get information was like from the Nintendo Power magazine on like how to get to wherever or something. Like, yeah, maybe, but like nowadays it's like, tomorrow, like if I really can't figure something out, like it'll be on YouTube. Like I can just YouTube. Like, why do I need $30 for a strategy guide for something?
My problem is not so much with the having of it, because like I have I guess it's a different thing. I have a hardcover Skyrim strategy guide, but that thing is huge.
Yeah,
right. It's almost like a collector's edition. But my problem is with the pushing of it. Is like the second that you want this, like you
don't look like a gamer. You don't look like you could figure something out. You look like a dumb shit. Here, buy this strategy guide.
You know the Saran wrap is still on this game. I haven't even taken attempt number 1.
Yeah,
and you want to give me the strategy guide to
how to beat everything?
A Link Between Worlds? I don't. I think I can figure it out.
What was the last one that I got from there? I think it was Arkham Knight. I went there. Because I pre-ordered Arkham Knight because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, and then like, we're gonna have a launch party, we're gonna do this, that, and like, we'll have like giveaways and stuff, and I'm like, all right, I can get behind some Batman stuff, like I'm good. And then the giveaways are like, oh yeah, like the giveaways are not giveaways. It's like we have discount merch for people that are here, and then like you get a poster. And I'm like, okay, I'll take the poster, but like I'm not like, this $150 collectible statue is now $125. Like I'm good. I'll just get the game, thank you. So, but they want to I got that, and I was like, do you want the strategy guide? You got to learn how to, beat the Penguin or Riddler or get all the Riddler trophies and this and that. I'm like, I could also play the game and see, how far I get and what happens, and no. They want to offer it. I'm like, it's only $29.99. Do you want are you a GameStop Power Up Rewards whatever the fuck? Like you get a discount on it if you're this level of a member. And I'm like, I've got an account, but like I spent a good year buying stuff from GameStop, and I never got any like reward out of it. I don't think rewards actually exist there. So like I still have like the free membership thing, and it's supposed to do something for me. I don't know what. No idea.
I don't think it does anything anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's just like, we've got your information, now we're gonna like microman. What's the term? Data mine, like all the stuff, and sell off your information to our constituents, which is Nazis and Hellions
and Think Geek for some reason.
Yeah. So,
well. Those are our thoughts on GameStop. So now when you hear us say the catchphrase, fuck GameStop,
Is that our catchphrase?
It's one of them.
It's one of them.
I think we've established that like we don't really have an intro. We kind of just jump in and then introduce ourselves later.
Right.
And then at the end, we kind of just randomly say like Zeus and Jeff at Twitter is my handle.
Mine is at Tatooine Hermit on Instagram. It's the only place to get a hold of me because I don't have any other social media. Because it's like having multiple game systems. It's like you can't devote all that time to all of them. And even then, like I'm not... Like, there's only so many people I like anyway.
You want to keep a secret from us? Put it on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, I never go to Facebook for anything.
And
so I don't have one.
If we haven't said it enough this episode, this is the episode where we could say it a lot. I'll let you say it this time.
Fuck GameStop?
Yeah, there you go.
So.
And so we will see you at our next episode. You have to do the like thing. I like when you do that.
When I do it? Oh,
yeah.
Because I usually do it on a different voice. I try to do it in different ways. I say, like this video, hit the subscribe button, and then give us a thumbs up, and hit the little bell. Hit the bell. It gives you notifications that we've been posting new videos and such.
Like in Soviet Russia, bell rings you or something?
Bell rings you in Soviet Russia.
Word. And so, I'm Jeff.
I am Adam there to Varlish.
And this has been...
This has been End of a Species. Please enjoy more videos from us. Go watch our back catalog.